What is up, Ham Radio? Kilo Echo 8 Papa Zulu November, the Ham Radio Adventure Guy. Thanks for stopping by. Your one stop for everything Adventure Radio. It is Hump Day. Time for the Hump Day Happy Hour. And before we get started, we're going to thank these guys. And I'm going to tell you what, hopefully, some of these guys want to participate in tonight's stream because I've got something really fun planned. Yeah, but it's going to take some audience participation. Also, shout out to the YouTube members, equally important, and would like to see some of you guys participate as well. The ever-changing board that did not change. There were some donations, but no changes. Everybody's donating in the right spots to stay where they are. If you want to be adventurous, you got to up your game, guys. Dan, what is going on?
What's up, man? Happy Hump Day to everybody. Episode 186. We are here. Whiskey 8 Echo Romeo and Fan was first in the chat. Andy Cali, good to see you. KO4 FSZ Antennas. What's happening, brother? Whiskey 1, Whiskey Charlie, Howdy Doody, Dandy Partners, Martini, Whiskey 1, Jumbo Marshmallow, Yankee Doodle, Kilo 9 Alpha Echo Echo. What's going on, Kent? Mike 88 KB. Hello, Kenny. KC5 MJE, Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar. James, Jim, Dad, Uniform Delta
Victor?
I almost called you Victor. Uniform Victor Kilo. Uniform Victor Kilo, Dad. I was thinking of Steven because he sent a little text message to me and PP Man the other day. Well, earlier today. That was pretty funny. So I had him on my mind. Chris, the Kilo 3, the My Toy Ostrich. Hey, buddy, how you doing? Toby. Alpha Delta 2, Charlie Delta. If y'all missed Toby's interview last night on Clubhouse, go rewatch it. It's a gem. You did a great job. Scott N2 TKT, good evening. Brent, November 4, Bravo. Delta Whiskey. National Pie Day. It is. Well, it's no, it's 3.12. What do you mean it's National Pie Day? Dennis, Alpha Delta 9 and Whiskey Mike. And Mike, 88 KB. Pete Knapp, Bustin' with 1 whiskey. From West by God. Happy Wednesday, everybody.
It is definitely Wednesday. I'll tell you what. Sometimes I know it's the middle of the week. I mean, it's just really rough. I'm going to tell everybody what we're doing tonight. That way they can get prepared, and then we'll talk about some stuff, and then we'll do what we're going to do. But tonight is going to be some audience participation. I'm going to bring up a topic tonight. There's going to be several topics, but I'm going to bring up a topic, and I want 2 people to come on stream and debate this topic.
There you go.
When it happens, just make sure you have good audio, and if you don't want to be on stream, you can have a blacked out stream if you want, but I'd rather you have some picture in there. That way we see who we're talking to, but definitely good audio. But I'll tell you what. The bands were horrible. It was almost like some rookie POTA person went out there and did their first activation or something and just ruined the bands.
The bands decided, here, take this. That's right. She did.
You know not to let no rookies come out on a Wednesday. What's wrong with you people?
That's right. Even with the horrible band conditions on her first solo activation, Whiskey Delta 4 Juliet, Mike got 41 in the log.
41, and that's pretty awesome because she got it on 20 meters, which I got 3 on sideband on 20 meters and 2 on CW on 20 meters. But I've said it once, I've said it a million times. West Virginia is not a 20-meter friendly place.
Normally I can hear Terry just fine, and I heard him call her, but he was like a 3-3 at best.
And he was probably running his amp.
Yeah.
I'm sure, because he told me he got it on. He was talking to me in the chat, and he's like, I had to go to SDR. I was like, I can't do that. I'm trying to park the park.
Yeah. So
Josh says you're 5 KC wide, Terry. Oh,
that's great.
The lovely people you get to talk to on the radio. It's just I tell you, Yesterday, the bands were horrible. Everything was horrible yesterday. And I went to 20 meters, and I called as this frequency in use like 5 times while I'm setting up the log and stuff. And I start, and I get to the last one, and some guy pops in there. Now, I ain't heard nothing the whole time. Some guy pops in there and says, "Yes, it is. You must be deaf." And I was like, "Well, you must be rude. You know, most people appreciate when somebody asks if the frequency's in use."
Yeah, right.
I was like, "You're what's wrong with ham radio. I just hope you know that." And he never said a word.
Yeah, it's like, I'm glad I asked. I mean, most people just start calling, right?
Yeah.
Let's make 7200 great again. Yeah.
Jeff said he had no problem today, and Jeff did his first ever CW activation today. So
That's right.
congratulations to him. A lot of firsts for a Wednesday.
Rip the Band-Aid off. That's right.
Yeah. He sent me a picture of his paper log in his little CW station. Good deal. All right, so like I said, I'm going to bring in a couple people. Actually, I guess we got to get an invite link here, don't we?
Yeah, I can post a link if you want to talk.
I got it. It ain't no big deal.
Sweet.
We're going to bring in a couple people just to debate different topics. And our first topic tonight is, what's better for POTA, a vertical or a wire? I need somebody from each perspective that wants to come in and talk about it. I know what I think is better, and probably nobody will agree with me. But hopefully somebody will come in and debate my end of the things. So a vertical or a wire, I need 2 people to come in and talk. This is all the audience participation night. So if you guys don't participate, you're going to listen to me and Dan ramble on about Roblox. Dan looked at me like I don't know nothing about Roblox, and I had to think what it was even called, Dan. So we're good then.
Whiskey
Zero Charlie Go Charlie says ham sticks are the best.
That's
well,
right.
that would be a vertical. That would be one version of a vertical, and we're not saying specific and a specific antenna or a specific, we're just talking verticals or a wire. I'm gonna get my kids down here. They will talk Roblox all night. And of course, Whiskey Charlie says the loop's the best. If you want to come in and fight for the loop, you can come in and do that. But we got to get 2 other people for the other. See, everybody's going to be scared. That's what sucks about audience participation when everybody's scared to participate. It's like you guys are scared to be rovers, Oh,
Kenny says, yeah, that'd be another good question. Hunting or activating?
Well, my intention is always activating, but I guess that's up to the people that's trying to win their fight. Because I don't know that I've really hunted very much on a vertical.
Yeah.
So I couldn't even give a perspective, really.
The vertical hunting queen would be Miss Toby.
That's true. We know that works. Technically, an Eagle One is a vertical wire. Yes, technically yes, but it doesn't technically have to be an Eagle One either. We're just talking vertical or a horizontal. What works best? Technically, you can take an Eagle One and run it horizontal too.
Roger. Hey, Curtis.
Hunting, I like my infed so I can jump around bands for activating. I'm learning more toward a vertical. Dan, I guess we're gonna have to debate it a little bit because nobody's gonna come in here because they're all scared as always. What would be your go-to? First we'll cover activating, then we'll cover hunting. So
activating, I'm going with the vertical.
Activating,
yeah.
And why?
Easier to deploy, especially if you have the Eagle one, or if you're running like what's the one that
I use all the time now?
Cheligans.
Yeah,
I was drawing a blank in my head for some reason, but they're both really good. It all depends on how long you're going to be at the park too. Like quick deploy will be good for a vertical. If you're going to be there for a while, throw an end fed up. And use that too.
Okay, we do have somebody coming in here.
We got one contestant.
We got one contestant. Chris, what do you? Which side are you taking? Before that way we know who the next person is going to take.
I'm going to be on the wire side, of course.
You're going to be on the wire side. All right. So if nobody comes in to debate Chris, that means me or Dan will have to take the vertical side, which won't be a problem.
That's fine.
So if anybody wants to come in for the vertical side and debate Chris, why? I like to hear different perspectives on what people think. Otata says long deployment. He's putting up a fan dipole.
Wow. I've never put up a fan dipole at a park. That would, yeah. That'll be good for like a support your parks or something if you're going to be there for hours.
I'm going to debate that with a vertical just the same.
Yeah.
But we're going to wait because it's probably going to be me versus Chris because nobody wants to say vertical. Everybody always wants to say wire. All right, so we're going to do it, Chris. It looks like it's going to be me and you.
That's fine.
Chris, tell me.
Lose then if it's against the king. Sorry.
Well, the only rule of this contest is you're wrong if you're arguing with the king. But
right.
Anyway, well, why do you think a long wires or end fed or first off what kind of horizontal are you talking about that you think is the best?
Well,
it doesn't have to be a name, just the kind.
Random wire. Random wire, I think, is like that's my go-to antenna anyway. And it's short enough that I could put it up straight on a vertical if I wanted to. If I'm in a place where they don't allow tree limbs and stuff like that. So in Georgia anyway, we have very, very little places that a vertical would be necessary because most of the places, they'll allow trees. Even in some of the historic sites, they don't let you. But if you're in the picnic area, that's not part of the historic whatever it is that you're in anyway. You're getting in a picnic area that's all trampled down and people are in and out all the time. Throwing up a little wire in a tree is not that big of a deal, But in our case, 90% of the places you can use a wire. There are like Fort Pulaski, whatever. That's where you can't. But to me, a wire is more ham radio, right? Because it's not a compromised coil on the ground or that sort of thing. And so I just like having the wire, and the more wire in the air, the better.
Okay, so you're saying this is not a compromised coil, but you said you're running a random wire
antenna.
You're running a random wire, so you're now using a tuner. So you're technically kind of using a compromised antenna, right?
Well, it's also short, right? It's only 31 feet. So, I mean, that's a ridiculous length as well. But in the CB days, they call it walking the dog or whatever. So it still works really well. And I have no complaints. But you have to have some sort of compromise. This whole POTA stuff is all about compromised antennas. So, it's not like you can take your full-fledged 180-foot 1500 watts and all of that. So you're compromised in some way or another, regardless of what you try to do.
You're right. You're right. And everybody's pretty much using some sort of compromised antenna, one way or another. But you mentioned POTA. First off, for POTA, the best antenna is the one you have with you, because
That's true.
I have yet to take out an antenna
Yeah.
that I cannot get activated on easily. So a lot of people will talk trash about me when I do my ATOS activations, and I like to do ATOS activations if I'm just wanting to pull into a park and get in there kind of quick and get out. Now, do I destroy the world with an ATOS? No. Do I get all 5 nines with an ATOS? No. But do I get activated in a timely manner? Absolutely. I'm in and out in under 5 minutes if I want, and that's going to the bathroom to pee.
Josh said an off center fed. Now I'll throw this out here. Off center feds are excellent antennas.
They are. I've used an off center fed that Josh actually sent me. I had it set up in Florida for Sherry to hunt with, and that thing done wonders.
Well, we have a guy in our club that has an off center fed, and he can't hear anything inside of the state of Georgia on 40 meters at all.
Really?
He does fine. He can hear you fine, James. And when like Dan's in Florida, but yeah, he can't. 40 meters doesn't work on the off center fed for whatever reason. It's either the height, his like noise situation or whatever at the house, but and it's too long to use in the park anyway. It's 150 feet, so too far, too big.
Well, now I'm gonna tell you, I've seen Josh set up some off center feds in the park. But now when Josh sets up an off center fed, Josh is going to be there all day. He's going to be there for a while.
Right.
So it does depend on what you're doing. Now, see, I'm going to say vertical over Chris's wire, and I'm going to say that because I can put up a vertical in any park anywhere.
That's
I don't
true.
have to rely on any trees, anything to hold my antenna up, anything. And I can, I heard, Otata said he likes to switch between bands, really quickly and stuff like that. And I get it, when I use my end feds, it's nice just to switch to the other band and go.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagle One, if I'm using Eagle One, yeah, I've got the tune. If I'm using the Chelegans, I got to adjust a whip. But most of you all have hunted me on the Chelegans, and you know how fastly I can adjust a whip if I want to. I can be right on that other band in probably about a minute, and that's because I'm slow now. The Eagle One, it's just a quick tune, but both of those are compromised. Yes, the Chelegans, when I put it on the 17 meters or whatever, well, you know what? Technically, it's not really compromised unless I go to 40. Because technically, when I move those to whatever band I'm on, I'm using all metal and no coil, and I'm technically not compromised. But 40 meters, 60 meters, and 80 meters, I'd be using coils and be compromised.
Would you say that you're in places more that a wire is not supported, like Arizona, the desert? Most of the time there's nothing to put in the desert. There's nothing to put an wire on. So would you say you activate in more places like that, or in places that are sensitive to antennas or whatever as well?
No. I can mostly, for the most part, I can put out a wire. I put out a wire today. It's not that I'm against them. They work just fine. Do they take longer for me to set up? Yeah. Or they don't take that long, but they take longer. And it just seems, well, I'll tell you right now, if we're talking 40 meters in my neck of the woods, because everybody's going to tell you West Virginia is a 40-meter state. 20 meters sucks in West Virginia. When I'm in Florida, I do 20 meters till the cows come home. But up here, I do 40 meters. And for 40 meters, I'm telling you right now, you won't beat an Eagle One, period. Hands down. I've yet to see any activation I've ever done, and I've used a lot of antennas.
Was
And
that?
I've yet to produce anything close to what an Eagle One will do.
But an Eagle One, it would be considered a wire that's vertical then. So it's
still vertical. It's
both
still vertical.
arguing yourself.
It's still omnidirectional. That's another point for my vertical. I am omnidirectional, so I'm going out in every area. Where a wire, you do kind of go out in every direction, but you're more compromised in two directions.
Yeah, true. Well, point to James then.
Dan, you want to add something?
Vertical. Vertical, unless I'm going to be there for a while. I mean, if I'm going to be in a park for a while, sure, I'll put something up more. It takes more time. But I mean, I like to set up fast, get on the air fast, and I'm still there for 2 hours anyway. So yeah.
so I'm a debater, man. So I'm going to debate you too. So you said if you're going to be there for a while,
yeah,
So you think if you're going to be there for a while, you're going to make more contacts on a wire?
I think I would make more. All right, so like for the Georgia Parks on the Air event, when I'm at the park all day, I will take my big ass inverted V fed with ladder line, and that will outdo an Eagle One. I mean, hands down. I mean, it's a true short enough doublet, dipole doublet, right? And that, I mean, it takes 15, 20 minutes to set it up. I mean, it's not like you can just do it like an Eagle One and just run it up and 2 minutes you're done. So if I'm going to be at the park all day, I'm going to put up something better than an Eagle One. But for a couple hours, the Eagle One. Yeah. You can bring a Buddy Hex. Yeah, that's a damn good choice. Yeah. The problem is Buddy Hex not going to do 40, right? And I wish my hex beam did 40, but it would be massive diameter, move it.
See, but once again, you went back to Eagle One. I just said vertical. Mm-hmm. Because if you'll just remember my trip from Florida, I can't tell you the days that I went out and spent 4 or 5 hours at a park running through every band imaginable.
Yeah.
And making contacts on every single one of those bands on a vertical. Just by up or down with the antenna.
All right, so the antenna I would throw up in a tree if I'm going to be there literally all day for a contest or like support your parks or something like that. If I'm just focusing on one park, it's not a vertical, it's a wire, and I do it like an inverted V. Okay. The good thing about verticals are, as opposed to slopers, wire slopers, wire inverted V's, inverted L's, however you want to configure it, is your vertical is going to have a lower takeoff angle. So you're going to get better DX off of it. For sure. I mean, there's nothing you can say. A vertical DX wise is going to perform better than an inverted V or a sloper. I mean, there's really no getting around that. That's just the nature of how your signal goes out from the wire, right? So,
and now
it all depends on what you're looking for too. If you're on 40 meters looking for local contacts, vertical might not be the way to go. A horizontal wire closer to the ground, get the invis,
and here we're going to go with this, and this is where everybody go ahead and click the like button before I make you leave.
Uh-oh.
Because I hear this all the time. They're like, oh, you're too close for 40 meters if you're going to use a vertical. And I will tell you right now that when Terry struggles to get me on 40 meters, he struggles with me on a wire.
Yeah.
Now, that's probably West Virginia only. So you don't have to leave. That's probably because and I'll explain this to you. If you've never activated the throne room, if you've never activated Chief Logan State Park, Kyle, Mommy Noodles said it best, because I always say 20 meters sucks in West Virginia. And, I can go on top of the mountains and do 20 meters just fine. But when I'm in the valleys in West Virginia, Kyle even said his best. He's like, no wonder you say 20 meters sucks. If you're using a wire, you're just running straight into the mountain. He said you have to use that vertical, don't you?
Yeah.
Because 20 meters, it'll hit the mountain and it'll go way out.
Now you can get local 40-meter contacts on a vertical. Don't get me wrong. It'll be more efficient if you're trying to work local. I mean, not regional, but local, to do like an invis setup. Just like you could pound a screw with a hammer, but it's not necessarily the best tool for the job, right?
How local are you saying?
Within 100 miles, 150 miles.
150 miles. How far are you from Lakeland area?
I don't know. Let me look. Lakeland, Florida.
Now I got to look too.
You'll be a little farther away, obviously.
You'll be further away.
All right. Direction.
Lakeland is halfway to Orlando, right? Or no, it's south of Orlando.
Well, I can't really do directions because it will get me here. I need to measure distance in a straight line.
Oh, yeah.
Right at about the way the crow flies, which is the way your signal will go, about 211 miles.
Okay. Well, all right. I can't compare then. I was going to say because we're about 40 over on each other when I'm there on 40 meters on the vertical.
Oh yeah, you're loud here. That's for sure. But like on 20, I can't get you. I mean, every now and again, I'll hear you down in the noise. I have to use my contour and notch, and I have to do CW.
Now, Chris can get me on 20 or 40 down there.
Yeah, it's weird. Just being another Chris, you're about what, an hour and a half, maybe hour 45 up the road from me.
Yeah,
and just that distance is where 20 hops.
Yeah, and all I have is an infed.
Yeah.
It's fairly flat, like across the yard, but it's 135 feet. So,
good God.
And it's a all band. It's a my antennas.
130 is that 10 through 80?
Yeah, I can do 160 on it. 60 meters, it's fine. But yeah, on 40, this antenna, the position of it is is amazing on 40 meters. That and I can get a lot of other things in the state of Georgia on 20 just by some shenanigans with the listening somewhere else.
And just so you guys know, I'm definitely not against wire. Here at this house and here at my other house, I only have up wires, and they do just fine.
If you really want to get really technical, the only antennas I have here at the house too are wires.
They're just in a big circle.
It's just shaped around a hex beam, right? I mean, that's a wire antenna. It's basically a 2-element Yagi wire.
It's unfortunate. I don't think anybody is actually gonna absolutely win that argument in either way.
It's just interesting. Yeah.
It's an interesting one. The feelings that people have and stuff.
I use the ATOS on the tripod because I have to as a vertical, not because I want to, but it works fine. I've activated 10 or 12 parks with it and done all of my roves with it on the front of the truck, and stuff. I've done at least 10, parks. I did 117 park weekend, with the ATOS, but with the tripod, it sits 3 feet off the ground. That's what I did at what y'all call that? Popka, dead body, whatever.
Yeah.
That's what I did in Apopka.
The concrete pad. Yeah.
I finally went to the 2 parks you guys did in Altamont Springs because I was there, finally got to them. But anyway, but those were both on the ATOS because I was in my wife's car and I didn't feel like carrying the mast and stuff. So
did you have a lip mount on your wife's car for the ATOS so you can use it mobile?
Nope, just the Jabil tripod.
Gotcha.
So this is an interesting question, and there are people who's never tried this, Dennis, would argue with you because they'll say an Eagle One's just to wire up a pole. There's nothing special about it.
That's how I feel about it.
But I'm going to tell you point blank, you're wrong. I don't know why it's not as good.
I'm gonna tell you.
There's some kind of voodoo magic that makes it not as good. But I can tell you this. Listen, I've broke my wire before in my Eagle One while activating, and I took and ran my wire up the outside of the pole, the same pole, and did not get near as good. I got home, put it back up in the pole and secured it back into place and went back out and destroyed the world again.
Let me tell you some voodoo stuff.
Something's in there.
Yeah. So let me tell you some voodoo stuff. So I got a 31-foot jack kite pole. So I said, I'm going to build me an Eagle One. It's simple. 31 foot of wire. You run it up through this pole. You make you a little piece of aluminum little plate, put your SO239 connector on it, ground the rest of it. Bob's your uncle. Easy peasy, right? Didn't work the same. I don't know what he puts. I don't know what kind of Haktua he puts on these things. But I'm telling you right now, I can't. I built one exactly the same. SWR, perfect. Looked perfect on a meter. Nothing was wrong with it. It just didn't perform as well. And yes, I did it. I didn't test different days when conditions could have been different. I tested 5 QSOs, not QSOs, 5 or 10 minutes. Swap the coax 5 or 10 minutes, back and forth. And it was a considerable less amount of contacts on the one that I built. I don't know why. They're fiberglass, not carbon fiber. Yeah.
It's absolutely ridiculous. Like I said, I used the same pole. It was on the same setup.
Yeah.
It's the same pole, the same wire, and it's the same antenna. One the wire was running up the pole and one wire was running through the pole.
Now, I can tell you it's not the wire he uses because I purposely took out the wire that the Eagle One ships with and I replaced it with my own wire. And it still acts really, really good. There's some other kind of voodoo doll magic he's ping pricking with that thing.
I think it's because you're violating the copyright when you don't use his setup.
See, I used to think it was the wire.
Whatever PP uses, don't.
but then he switched wire, and I'll be honest with you right now because I've broke mine a couple of times because I'm rough on stuff. I'm very rough on stuff, and I've got a lot of activations. It's kind of easy for me to break stuff, but right now my Eagle One has been just snapped into the wire. And I've literally took the two strands of wire, run them around each other, put a piece of heat shrink over it, and shrunk it back together and run it back up the pole. And every time, just like last night when I went out and did late shift, I can't tell you the number of people that tells me, man, you're 40 over.
It's because of that heat shrink. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
You got that DB shrink on there, don't you? Yeah. Chris said he's used his a couple hundred times, been in the rain, fell over, have a segment slightly bent, yada, yada, yada. And yeah, I mean, James has one of the Eagle Ones that he has a couple of them, but one of them has been through the ringer and back. I mean, the tire shop did a number on one of them.
They've both been through the ringer and back, and they both still work perfect.
Yep.
Really, I mean, yes, the tire shop did a number on the first one. And it was a pain in the butt to throw up because the wire was kind of kinky after that. I could have rewired it, but I ain't gonna lie, I wanted the orange antenna.
Yeah.
So that's why. And so here's the thing. The other one is getting ready to go up here, and I will be capable of hunting with a vertical.
Capable of what?
You
I said I'd be
broke up there.
capable. I didn't say I would.
Didn't hear
Oh,
you.
Chris,
I
did
said
you
I'd
hear
be
what he just said?
Well, no.
Nope,
Okay,
he's
his
breaking
internet.
up.
Here
Breaking
we
His
go.
internet blipped out a little. I could have swore he
I'll-
said hunting, but it was like
I'll-
a glitch in the matrix here.
No. I will be hunting. I will be hunting summits on the air. I will
There
be
you go.
hunting summits on the air from a vertical or a horizontal, and then I can have a comparison about the hunting as well. So
Let me throw people's names up here just in case you don't know who this guy is right here. Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar is Georgia Parks and Propagation here on YouTube. Go check him out.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that's him right down there. And right now, because he's the only one that wanted to come on here, we are debating antennas. Somebody else, please join us so we can have more. I'm going to drop the link in the chat here again.
Wire.
and we're actually getting ready to do a new topic.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
And Chris, you're welcome to stay for it because you have a lot of experience in the next topic.
Ooh,
So Dan's going to drop the link,
I did.
and our next topic is, and because Chris was nice enough to come on and do the antenna debate, he gets to pick which side he's going to do. So the next topic is, what is better for POTA? What's more fun for POTA? Going out and roving and doing as many parks as you can in a day, or sitting in one park all day and making as many contacts? What is more fun for you in POTA? Chris, which one are you going to debate?
For me,
Yep.
personally, it's all about the rove, man.
All right.
I got
Don't
200.
do your story yet. So Chris is taking the rove. We need somebody to come in and debate him who wants to sit in a park all day long and just bang out contacts. And there's a lot of people that's going to do that.
Where's KA4 KOE when we need him?
Yes.
From Savannah.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait.
Already, man, that was
We
quick.
got to take her. We got to take her.
Quick.
There he is.
And listen here, this guy would definitely sit in a park all day long and bang out contacts. I know this for a fact because I will look at the spotting page and I'm like, oh, Brian's at a park. I'll go activate like 6 parks. And I'm like, oh, Brian's still at that park.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to get Dom in here too. That'll be a good one. All right, so I guess Whiskey One Whiskey Charlie is going to take I'm going to sit my happy butt in a park all day, and I'm going to get a kilo in a day. And Alpha Echo 4 X-Ray Oscar is going to say, I'm going to get 12 and split.
11.
All right. So since Chris has already talked, Brian, first off,
Brian.
welcome to the show again. And
Thank you.
secondly, prove your point, buddy. Prove somebody wrong.
So I will say this: I have been roving lately. It is
Yes.
incredibly fun. I do like it. I love driving. I love seeing the different parks. It's really, really fun.
But
But when you get to a park and it's like, it's got a pavilion, it's got a bathroom, it's got everything you need, and you can put up those big wire antennas. And
I got to interrupt you for a second. The bathroom here is called the Kapow room.
that's where you hear Kilo 8 Golf Corvette.
Good point. All right, so good. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
But yeah, it's nice to be able to, especially if you're like trying out a new antenna and you're not sure, and your wire is gonna hang from that branch right there that you hung your antenna from forever now, and you're familiar with the setup, and you get to go there and just relax and not feel the pressure. On a row, you always feel like you're under pressure to get those contacts. Although I guess if the bands are bad, it's better to sit in the park too, because then you don't have that pressure. Because I rode the other day and bands were not super ideal, and you always feel that pressure to get contacts and get out. And if you're stuck at like 9 or contacts, then it's rough.
Before we pass over to Chris, I got a question about roving for you, Brian. Do you have like a SO3R or SO2R mobile setup?
I do, but not while mobile. So
Okay. How cool would it be to do like SO2R or even SO3R? Zoom your butt into a park, stay there literally 45 seconds, get your 12 contacts, and get the hell out.
That would be pretty awesome.
Yeah.
Michael KB9VBR just put out a video of
Mhm.
them doing the was it Wisconsin or
Yeah, the
Minnesota
Wisconsin
Keystone
Keystone
Party?
Party.
Yeah, I
And they're
saw that.
doing SO2R. Or no, sorry, not SO2R. They're doing 2 operators, 2 mobiles, 2 antennas while mobile.
That
So
is really cool.
that
All
would
right,
be fun to do.
so sit in the park, get a kilo in a day. SO47R. Chris, go.
Well,
On a rove.
on a
On a
rove.
rove.
I have 225 parks that have haunted me for 3 years in Georgia, and some of them are more than 4 hours away to get there. I've got 41 left, and most of them are in North Georgia. One is down by Dan's house down there, um, but yeah, the exciting part to me is getting 4.5 minutes and you're done. And I understand people with sitting having conversations, taking their breakfast and their computers and their work, and like Brian does, he talks about having, oh, I've got to run this whatever program, and and then sit there and watch it for 6 hours while he's at the park. That's great. I mean, that's awesome. But until my 225 parks are done, roving is going to be what my priority is. After that, who knows? But yeah, I do the the staying in a park at when we stay at a park, we do like a long weekend.
Yeah.
We'll try to get a kilo in a day. The most I've ever gotten in a day is about 670 contacts in one day. Um, but we stay in the cabins. I don't have a camp or anything, so we stay in the cabins and stuff. But again, even when I do that, I'm purposely going to to a state park and then hitting everything else around it really fast, and then coming back and trying to do as many as I can from that one park. But yeah, I mean,
what is
it's
Zungri?
Yeah, okay. Sorry to interrupt you.
here.
no
Yeah,
worries.
yeah.
I
Can
didn't
me and Dan
understand that
get,
either.
can me and Dan get a definition of Zungri?
Yeah,
Apricot autumn Zungri.
we need a definite for Zungri there.
But yeah, I get people, they want to stay in the park, but for until my 225 is 225 on behind the slash and front of the slash at the same time, I'm gonna say roving.
I definitely see that point too now, because I kind of passed all my goals for the year so far, other than the Bailey Sprout challenges and PCN challenge. So
Now,
my new challenge is to activate all Alabama parks, and I'm up to 40 now, and that's all about roving, because those parks are real far away too, because I'm at the very top of Alabama, so I got to go all the way down to get some of them.
I mean,
Okay.
roving's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I guarantee I spend a lot less money sitting my butt in one park.
That's true too.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true.
Okay. So first off, a lot of good points, but I think you guys are missing the point of the question, because you guys are talking this.
Specifics.
You guys are talking this. You're talking heavy as the crown right now. You're talking about goals, and goals are great. And I heard Brian say it, the pressure to make those contacts. That's why heavy is the crown right there. We want to know why sitting in a park all day and making the contacts is more fun, and why roving is more fun. That's what I want you guys to debate. Because if we're going to go goals here, everybody's going to think that you guys are just turning it into my minions and preaching my sermon.
Well, from the fun side, to me, roving is getting to see places in the states that you're not usually going to go to. If you stay in a state park, or if you're specifically in a state park, it's well groomed, well maintained. Probably not going to get shot. You're not going to see deer or animal knolls or anything like that. But you get out in the Georgia woods somewhere in the
might get
middle of hunting
shot.
season, you might get a little, like
Mhm.
we had a guy. He was out there and they came out with a gun and said, "You're definitely on the wrong property," and he's like, "Oh, I'm leaving," um, but it also it goes to places that you really wouldn't go to. Like there's parks and areas of Georgia that I would never go to unless I had to go there, and I'd like to see that. Georgia has such a really interesting, uh, uh, geography, I guess the word is, with the fall line in between that runs down the middle of the state. The north is a little more mountainous, and the south is a lot flatter, and then the real south is barbecue. So I mean, you can't really go wrong.
That's right.
And I would say there's two main points that make sitting in a park more fun than a rove. One is you get to talk to everyone instead of just those people that can catch you when you're on the air. So you get to talk to everyone. It seems like I can sit in a park and make 500 contacts and still be like, oh yeah, this guy haunts me sometimes, and I get to get those contacts again. And the second more fun thing for me is I get to do weird modes. Like I'm not gonna do PSK 31 or Hellscriber on a rove, and I get to do that when I sit in a park. And I get to try out different antennas and set up more complex antennas and not worry about. I mean, I've set up an 80-meter horizontal loop at a park before just because, and that part to me is really fun too. I do see your points to the rove, getting out and seeing things, but yeah, I think both of them can be fun in their own ways, and I definitely embrace them both.
And it's fun to me too, sitting in the park for a while, because I like to see how long I can make that pileup last.
Yes.
The last time, year before last at Monsanto, let me say it correctly.
Montesano.
We went up and we went the very last day after the Hamfest, the very last night there. We went up Sunday night. And as most people know, Sunday nights on POTA are kind of slim pickings anyway on the spot page. And we spotted on 40 meters and just me. And for literally an hour and 45 minutes, maybe 2 hours, it was a constant banger of a pileup. And I like to see how long I can make that last. It's the adrenaline rush. Love it.
Okay, so I'll throw my perspective in for both. They're both
Wait,
fun.
Hold on, wait. Have you been on any roves?
I've been on a couple. Actually, to your point,
I heard you had a warthog.
You said if you're hanging out in a state park, you probably wouldn't get shot at. So I'm going to go ahead and say right here, do not listen to what Chris just told you, because chances are, if it's even remotely close to getting dark, you will probably get shot at, or at least robbed. Just so you know.
That's right. Give me all your vertical.
And you have to pay to get into it too. That's the even funner part. But the people who's going to rob you, they don't pay. They come through the woods. They come walking out of the woods.
That's when 11 contacts and get out of there is best. See, so
do they stand at the edge of the woods in like a clown costume holding a red balloon?
They have clown bats there.
Clown bats. Very nice. Very nice.
That rookie activator, the other first activation, she knows all about the clown bats.
Yes, that's true.
So they're both fun. You know, I just spent a lot of time in Florida, and like I said, there were several days that I spent 4 or 5 hours, and that's not all day, but 4 or 5 hours in a park for me is a long time. I mean, I even would do lunch in between sideband and CW. That's how long I would be at the park. But I did not call CQ. When those pileups would stop, I would switch bands and go on. Now, if I was at a park and I went through all those bands and that pileup dried up in an hour, I'd be gone.
You must have never called last call then, because you know that just invites another 45 minutes of pileup, right?
Because it's for me, and you know, there's people that go out there. I've heard people. I've sat and listened to activations before. I have this mental disorder with POTA, and I sit and listen to other people's activations sometimes, and I've listened to people, and they will literally call CQ for like 15 or 20 times and not get a contact. Sometimes I even feel sorry and work on myself.
That's how we can get you to hunt.
But I mean, to me, that's not, that's again, I do feel that pressure that Brian's talking about of making the contacts. You know, I do, because a lot of people will be like, "Oh, well, you're number one in sideband QSOs." Yeah, that's cool. That's cool. I'm number one in sideband QSOs, but that's not what I strive for. I strive for being in the top 5 of all the big categories, activations, unique parks. You know, that's what I strive for. And when you go trying to accomplish something like that, you can't sit in one park all day. Yeah, it's going to make them sideband QSOs or them total QSOs really look good, but it's not going to get you those unique parks. So I have to just juggle between them all. Now, extreme hardcore roving, I guess I'm a masochist
Yeah.
because I hate it. I hate it. Like, it's horrible, but I continue to do it, 30, 40, 50 parks. That's ridiculous. It's work, guys. It's serious work.
It depends on what your goal is too. Like roving park to park. Chris has a great goal. He wants to get done with Georgia. That's the only way to do it. Me personally, if a park is close to me and I activate it, I have to get a kilo there at least.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not done until I do. And my best one so far, I went to a park. I think my best shot so far is it took me 4 trips to get a kilo. And so, yeah, if it's within an hour of me, hour and a half, and I activate it, I'm going to get a kilo there. And that might mean I'll stay there, most of the day. I mean, that's just one of the goals of mine. Right now, one of my goals is not to activate all of anything. So I'm not looking at big rove plans yet.
Well, in the beginning of the spring, I changed that too. I started going to the ones around here locally, get more toward the kilo.
Yep.
April is a little bit different because there's several opportunities or several trips I have that are planned for already. So, but yeah, in the last fall, I was like, I'll just hang out and do the spring or do the kilos, around here. So, but yeah.
So okay. All the people that are on this stream right now are very active POTA people, okay? And
Terry, there's my cat.
I'm not talking
Now.
about for a casual POTA person. I'm talking about active POTA people. And Dan's the reason why I say this. Anybody who is as active as we are needs to activate all the parks in your state, because you're going to see parts of your state that you will never, ever, ever see if you don't go activate all these parks.
That's true.
Like, I've seen first off, before I ever did activated all West Virginia, I'd already been in all the West Virginia state parks because I hunted a geocache in all of them. But there's more than state parks. And I have seen some places. Now, trust me, some of those places I will never see again because I have no desire to see again. I might see them again, but I don't really want to, we'll say. But that's right. Hit that like button. And yes, I know we're running a little bit late here, but we can run over. I'm
a talker, man.
It'll be all right. Yeah, it'll be all right.
But I would suggest it to anybody who's remotely serious about POTA. Try to do all the parks in your state. You will see some things. If you follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is really about about a whole bunch of pictures that I typically will put up. That's just beautiful things that I see during POTA. It's nothing to really do with my channel, but it's like us. I've got several sunset pictures, and then it was a sunset that I would have never seen if I didn't do POTA. So
I think I want to hunt all of Georgia before I activate all of Georgia. That way I already have some kind of connection with that park. I've made a contact there. So now when I go to that park for the first time, it's like, hey, okay, this is where that guy could have been, And I know that if I go and activate all of Georgia, I know I can hunt it at the same time. I do a park to park with the people that are with me. But then I want to keep track of, sure, that just gets me that stat.
Right.
But I'm going to keep track of those parks that I haven't actually hunted.
Right.
You
And I've
know,
gone
yeah.
back to all the ones that I drug Ken to and actually have hunted them for
Yeah.
sure. You know. So
Well,
Yeah.
well, for me, it was definitely I wanted to activate all West Virginia because it hadn't been done. I
Yeah.
wanted to be the first. You know, if you're not first, you're last. Ricky Bobby taught me that. You know.
That's right.
The hard part is when they keep changing the goal, you know, and then adding parks. So, you know, some of the
Well,
states
that's
are
the
not
thing. The
easy like
good,
that.
if you do it in a timely manner, you get it done before they add. See, like I've got 16 parks I need to do in West Virginia because they just recently added 40 back in the winter, and I was in no hurry because I already have the West Virginia award.
Right.
You know.
Did they ever make the Georgia Worked All Georgia award? I wasn't sure
I don't
because,
think
you
so.
know,
No, I don't think it's up yet. No.
I know that we had 3 or 4 guys that have already done it. They just they never made up the award physically, or not physically, but PDF wise, you know.
We've already decided, James, that when you are on the road en route to your last park to activate all of Kentucky, we're going to drop 15 more.
So sadly, Dan will never know when I'm on my way to the last park.
On the Polo map page, does anyone know what the different colored dots represent? Yes, sir. Dots are bands and maybe even modes. I want to say mainly bands and modes. What
Yeah,
the colors are, I don't know. Like what color corresponds with what band, I don't know.
It has been completed, but has been undetermined yet by who has won. It's still happening.
The
Yeah.
Utes.
The Utes.
All right, so we
Thanks
are.
for letting me be in here. I appreciate you guys.
Oh, it's no problem.
man.
I really like these live streams where we let people come in and get different opinions and stuff, because you know you guys hear mine and Dan's opinion all the time. Sometimes it's great to get some fresh opinions and stuff like that in here and stuff. Not per se experts, you know, because I'm not one of those YouTubers that you guys say, well, James, do a meshtastic live stream. Okay, I'm going to bring somebody in that can talk to you about meshtastic because I can't. But it's great to get some of the viewers' perspectives, people who hang out here every week, and you know what I'm saying. And both of you guys are Patreons. I get your perspectives all the time in after chat, which we'll talk about in a minute. But well, not Chris, as we get his silence button, but
My silence, yeah.
He's a lurker.
I'm surprised Chris didn't pop in and just have his microphone muted up.
Hello.
Yeah.
I did that last night. I came into Patreon to Chillpad. 2 people were in there, and then I didn't say a word, and then they left, and I was like, "Oh well, bye."
At least I know that I'm not the only one that has trouble sometimes saying meshtastic. That's a weird combination of words to put together in your mouth. You know, meshtastic.
See, I'm from West Virginia. I can say anything, and people are going to let it slide. They're
That's
like, "Oh,
right.
he's just a hillbilly." and yeah, I could probably do a stream on that.
There you go.
But in my defense, I do live with an Olympic caliber falling expert. So. All right, so Brian, what do you got coming up?
Working too much, not spending those many hours in the park as I was at the beginning of the year, but still in the Bailey Sprott, so still getting out and activating every day.
Listen,
Other than that, just work.
the Bailey Sprott is it's a commitment, man. It's a commitment, and just doing that for a goal for the year is an amazing goal. So, but yeah, I see you out there grinding it, man. You're up there. All right, Chris, what do you got coming up?
Only Georgia Parks on the Air contest, April 5th and 6th coming up, and then Georgia QSO party the next weekend. So April is already filled up with everything good on every weekend. So yeah, so hope you guys can hunt our Georgia, or if you're activating Georgia, come on out. It'll be a great time there in April.
Sounds good, and eventually I'll have to make my way down there and do all Georgia too, because I'm slowly running out of states up here. Not really.
Yeah, you can do Georgia in a weekend.
I've already started looking for what's after Kentucky, and none of my options look great. I'll just go ahead and tell you.
North Dakota.
Yeah, no. All right. Yes, Brian is still in the PZN challenge.
I want to see you speed rove North Dakota with the pileups you'll get, because that's going to force you to leave people there and turn the radio off.
It's gonna have to take a KX3 and AX1.
This is why. If you're not a member of my Discord, you're missing out. Because when I do roves that are, over 10, 15 a day, most of the time I spot only on Discord. So you miss 10 or 15 activations that day. And when I go out and with my buddy who does the delivery runs, and because I have an outstanding deal with him.
You make that sound so mafia.
If he's going anywhere I need to go in Kentucky or Ohio, he knows I am going with him.
That's right.
So, but when I go with him, typically those are Discord only, because I got to get in and out because he's working. So, but he's pretty lenient. I've done up to 5-6 parks with him on a trip. So not too bad. All right, Dan, what do you got coming up?
Man, looking forward to the after chat. I might have to go meet somebody at a Walmart parking lot. There's somebody driving through who's going to boondock, so I'm going to go.
Does he not know they don't do QRP in Walmart?
I'm going to go get some stuff for him that he's driving through that he printed for me. But I'm going to drop the link now to the Patreon, which James will talk about in a minute. And he just mentioned the Discord, and that link is on the way too. And come join us over on our Discord. A lot of friendly folks. We don't bite. We might nibble every now and again, but he's going to talk about the after chat, how to get a member, get with that for free, a free trial on Patreon. He'll talk about it right now.
Chris, I still need to get you on CW as well, buddy.
Yeah.
All right. So yeah, for myself, I am getting ready to head over to after chat. And I'm probably, because I heard the door open in there, I'm probably going to be in after chat eating some pizza baked spaghetti from Jericho's.
So
interesting.
It's definitely some awesome stuff. But I'm going to head over to after chat, which is a Patreon benefit. If you are not a Patreon, you can head over there and try it for free for 7 days. Just sign up for the top tier, and it'll sign you up for 7 days free. The kicker, you must message myself or Dan. I would say me tonight, because Dan's getting ready to leave and go QRP in Walmart or something. But message me so I can get you in that room in Discord, and you can start experiencing what Patreon benefits are, because that is the purpose of that free day trial, is to get you to drink my grape Kool-Aid and to stay with us in the Patreon group. Other than that, tomorrow I'm in for a special treat. Tomorrow, I'm going hiking with a guy that rides around with women on hover rounds.
Oh,
myself and Kilo 8 Golf Quebec is going to activate a park. It's only been activated one time, and I know Dan happens to need it. But we're going to hike up to the overlook and do an activation of Fox Wilderness, or I don't know, Fox something. It's a new park to me. And I'm doing another new park to me, which is a fish hatchery up that way. So that's what up for tomorrow. And other than that, we'll catch you guys on the air every day, and video drops most of the days. 73, everybody.
Thanks, James.
Yep.
Dan. Brian.